Baby, be in love with your fantasies. I can be a star, make a sky so bright. Welcome to my dungeon, this is ecstasy. Let me play the fantasy.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Asia.
And it's your boy BJ. And we back like we never left. And I think we got a really good one again as we just jump into a lot of these different debates and things and just dive into it. I really want to dive into this one today. Go ahead and put that one on up now. It's called a change of heart towards Jordan. Particularly, it's about Jordan Peterson, and this is Africa Brooke.
Yeah.
And I guess she's speaking in regards to him, in regards to having a change of heart. I don't know what it's in regards to.
I won't even say the backstory of what I've kind of been told, because I feel like I won't be able to repeat it correctly. But it was something about her having not really agreeing with his views and his point of views or something like that.
Right.
A while back. I wish I could have gone back. I couldn't find a particular video. I guess there was some type of...
They have some differences.
Something going on, yeah. So this one, I feel like now, okay, so she has had a change of heart. So I'm interested to see how this will go.
To see what her perspective is in regards to kind of why she had a change of heart towards Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see.
Yeah, because even watching some Jordan Peterson now, I done seen some things about Jordan, okay? Mr. Peterson himself, so let's go.
Okay, let's see.
Because I'd had an experience in relation to you years before where I had made a firm decision that I would never in my life listen to anything this man has to say. Based on a 3-minute clip, mind you.
Well, there it is. She said she would never ever.
Yeah.
Listen.
Do you remember what it was that I said that was so profoundly irritating?
That's what I want to
know.
know.
There's many. Can you tell me what that was?
Of course. You were talking about the gender pay gap. And this was part of a longer interview, the interview that you had with Captain Newman. And this was a clip, 3-minute clip. You were talking about the gender pay gap, and you were saying that, paraphrasing here, but that the reason for most women is because most women are agreeable, most women don't negotiate, etc., etc. I believe that was essentially giving people options as to why it could be that there's this thing that exists or doesn't exist. And I didn't even finish the clip. I didn't even finish the 3-minute clip. But based on the things that another out of context clip that I had seen before, and the way that I'd heard your name being spoken of before in the context of the trans conversation that was happening around that time, 2018. Right, exactly. Again, I was watching this clip, and it's almost like I wasn't even listening to what you were saying. I had already decided that I don't like this man because someone that I trust has told me that I shouldn't like him. So therefore, the decision is made. Why do I even have to finish that video?
Right, of course.
And it was just, right? Mm-hmm. And it was just normal.
Well, we use heuristics like that all the time, and
Yes.
it's easy to get caught up in them because, you can't listen to everyone.
Yeah.
And so
She said she got the information for someone she trusted. And based on what someone told her, she kind of already had that pre-assumption.
She already had her mind made up.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in them because, you can't listen to everyone.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to make a snap judgment about almost everyone. And the default is you don't listen because there's 7 billion people. So obviously you're not listening to most of them. So you don't need much of an excuse. And it's really easy for that to get. And I mean, it's not like I haven't experienced that. On my podcast, I invite people on. Abigail Schreier, for example, she wrote.
That's a good example, a good prime example. Real quick, you know how people tell you, even with family, they tell you not to like somebody or somebody did something, and then you don't like them, and you don't even know why you don't like them, but you don't like them because they told you not to like them, or you just listened to what that person said, and so you don't even know what the real truth is, and you never go to find out because all you've heard was that person.
That pre-assumption. There
right.
you go.
And that happens a lot. The influence of that is heavy on people sometimes. Especially
when it comes from someone that you trust. But sometimes you got to compartmentalize those things in regards to separate the two, Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good example of that's friendships, family, anybody. I think that has an influence on a lot of people. More than people realize.
on my podcast, I invite people on. Abigail Schreier, for example, she wrote, I don't remember the name of her most recent book, but it's a investigation into the downside of the rush to make everything gender fluid, essentially. And I was terrified when I had her on. I mean, I was in rather ill health. Irreversible damage, yeah.
That's the one.
I want to have Andy Ngo on my podcast, but that also makes me nervous too. And, because he's tarred with the fascist brush. And then it's guilt by association, and that might have been part of what you were feeling. So you think, well, you need a simplifying heuristic, and part of that is, that most people aren't worth listening to, and he's definitely not worth listening to, and then that can so easily become politicized. And once it is, especially when the political has become religious, it's really, really hard to overcome that.
Yeah,
and so,
it really is.
A lot of the things that the radical left are pointing.
I like that he's kind of speaking about like heuristics too.
I thought I heard something. We're at the door for a second. Do you think that like with political, like sometimes he just made a good point with religion, and when you get political people who become religious, then it becomes hard to overcome that. Like, do you think that Ooh.
That's what he's speaking about, like in regards to just heuristics. In regards to that, it does make it difficult. It makes it very, very difficult.
I never thought about that.
Like I said, especially when it's coming from someone that you trust and you kind of know them to a certain degree. So when they kind of tell you something, it has a very, very, very like we were just saying, it has a very, very high influence on you.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to be able to compartmentalize those two things from each other.
Yeah. Okay.
That.
Yeah,
and so,
it really is.
A lot of the things that the radical left are pointing out are in some sense universal human failings. And so they have that truth about them. I mean, because we could ask ourselves, given the implicit tendency for human beings to have a pronounced in-group preference and the potential we have for violence against out-group members, how do we all address our proclivity to damn the foreigner? Okay, that's a really important question.
I feel like I've got a good answer.
Okay, let me add the one end to that. And then the next thing is, we all have these proclivities. How are they exacerbated by power and privilege? Right? Those are good questions. But as soon as we make it instantly racist, well, then we can't even ask the damn questions properly anymore. So, Mick, sorry.
My joke is over now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stomped all over your timely joke.
You stomped all over my tiny little joke. I was thinking about that question earlier, though.
His daughter forgot what she was going to say.
Because he was like, you totally killed the joke, Dad. Okay.
If everyone has these tendencies, which they certainly do, I've noticed that if I have a guest on my podcast, and I think my audience is fairly open-minded, but then I'll have a guest on that, and they'll hate them. And they'll be like, well, you can't just, even if you don't agree with them, maybe they are wrong, but like you can't just cancel people because they don't agree with you because you're doing exactly the same thing with the people you're complaining about.
Well, and also maybe your stupid opinions aren't right. They're probably not right. And like, are you so sure your life is going so much the way you want it to go, and you're such a bloody paragon of virtue, and the light is shining out every orifice, that everything you think and say is correct, and everyone who disabuses you of your notions is evil? You're really so sure of that, are you? So, you wander around and you think, God, maybe I should listen to this person because I'm such an ignorant bastard and I'm so full of malevolence, and maybe they'll drop one thing on me that won't make me like miserable and doomed to hell and to drag everyone else there too. That's yeah, well,
I think it's people around us that we know, that a lot of us know, that are kind of like those types of people that no matter what you particularly say to them, if you don't agree with exactly what they agree with, like dead on, they just don't want nothing to do with you. Like they're not trying to hear it. It's like, if you don't believe him, he's saying it right there. Like I think a lot of us know people around us like that. They're not open to listening. They're just like one track minded, and like you said, if you don't really align yourself with how they think or like the things that they that they like, or based on just their mindset. They don't want nothing to do with you. I think that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that around us.
Real talk. Real.
I felt something similar when I finally leaned into listening to you properly, because what was interesting, even after that moment in 2018, watching that 3-minute clip, deciding this man is evil, I want nothing to do with him ever again. And of course I didn't think I would ever have anything to do with him.
Yeah, look what happened. Ha
Infiltrated.
Me,
yeah.
Right. People especially people that were not really connected to the digital world, a lot of older men in my life, for example, and women in my life would always tell me to read your book. It's honestly, people would always say to me, Africa, you will really love this book. I would have friends of mine send me lectures. I think you're really going to like this. And I would just completely ignore it. And in my mind, I'd be thinking, what am I going to find? What am I supposed to like? Because again, I have this idea of you built up in my head. So I'm finding it very confusing that people that know me very well are telling me that there's something that I'm going to like, right?
Yeah, what the hell?
Very confusing. But again, for years, what the hell? For years, I ignored it. So when I started watching your lectures late 2019 and last summer as well, in the beginning, I could notice myself listening to you and waiting for a moment where I could say, aha, see?
Right.
I knew I was right. And you know what? I waited. That moment never came. That moment never came.
That comes for me
right?
all the time.
Really. And that again, so it's like there wasn't one moment of being awake and then it's done. So many little, tiny, seemingly insignificant moments where I'm just sitting here by my sofa, just watching and listening, observing myself, waiting, for that confirmation that I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it never coming. And then I have to deal with that. And then so again, my curiosity, I finally allowed myself to be curious again. And now, Jordan, I can say you have been one of the most influential people to me for so many reasons I couldn't even mention right now. But to be able to have the conversations that I do now publicly, you have, and I could have never imagined this ever in my entire life. Things like this don't just happen. And the fact that I can tell you this.
Oh no.
Oh.
Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you.
You got him.
Look at his daughter. She's so like, aw.
She looking all stoic.
Pleasure.
Wow.
It's a rough pleasure, but
She's proud.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You knew what happened to me with Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
That was something. It's really something to see yourself portrayed. I got accused of being a Nazi pretty much when all this happened. It was really something because I had been teaching students what we're talking about today, about these temptations that you faced and how people, as individuals, get sucked into that totalitarian hell, and then, so that was something for that to happen, such a reversal, and then to have that comic book come out, well, it was surreal. It was absolutely surreal to be portrayed, because Nazi wasn't enough, right? We had to go right for the archetype itself. So I think we've raised about $400,000 for charity now on the basis of that. So that was a fun reversal. But it was really shocking when I first saw that. I just couldn't believe it. I was very ill at the time, too. I thought, this can't be real. This has to be Photoshop. This cannot possibly be happening. It's so completely beyond comprehension. And, to come from the pen of one of the foremost black intellectuals. And I use the racial category only because that's the categories that he's using to operate within.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect this in this video. I didn't expect
Life
this.
is really weird.
This is true.
Right.
This is
Right.
true. As this whole conversation illustrates.
I feel that.
I
I
didn't
feel that
expect
so
this.
much.
I didn't expect
Because
this.
when you come from a place of just being like basically drug, you know what I mean? Probably brought to like your lowest point when you're sick already. He just said he was ill at the time.
Already
like
ill,
whatever it was that would like, and I don't know the details of the specifics, but you obviously see he was very hurt by that. Whatever it was hurt him.
Yeah, the comic book portrayed him as a Nazi, you know.
Yeah, but I kind of, like I said, I've heard a little bit of the background in terms of Jordan Peterson, so I kind of have an idea what it might have had something to do with for it to go that far. But even to say that, like, especially, you know, regardless of like how, I don't know, I'm just like, even if that weren't the case, obviously if it's not true and your whole heart feels like I'm not that person, and you're being portrayed as something that you are not to everybody, and everybody's looking at you, you feel like the whole world is judging you everywhere you go, and then you have this profound moment where things start turning around for you and things start looking up for you, like, and you start feeling like, damn, well, I'm not looked at by every person that these people wanted me to be as seen from these people, you know what I mean? And it gives you desire, it gives you hope. Like, and look, I mean, just in far where he is, you know, he teaches.
And you see that on his face right now.
Absolutely.
Too. It is that hope.
So I could totally understand that, because if anybody's, you know, followed our journey, I've kind of professed the same type of stories, the same feelings. Like, I know, like, and you can just see how that makes him feel to hear from somebody that, hey, I really do like what you talk about. I really am inspired by the words that you speak, and I really do follow what you say, and I do think it's important to people to hear your voice. You know what I mean, regardless of anything else. So I don't know. I feel like this was definitely a profound moment for him, and it probably made him feel really special.
And even with Africa Brooke, like everything that she kind of said, just leading up to it. Like I said, I didn't expect for him to have that type of reaction towards it. Like, that kind of shocked me right there.
Yeah, you would. I feel like you would when people
that gives
tell
you a
us.
lot of hope.
Yeah, because even I mean, I've had moments where, you know, we're on the phone talking to our subscribers, like in Discord, and there's just moments where I'm just like, man, I'm thankful. Like, I'm thankful for the blessings that I've been able to have, and the people who are around me, and the people I've been able to meet, and hearing y'all's story and the inspiration, and just them telling us how they feel about us. Like, it's definitely something that I can't describe in terms of like having that feeling of just like
like he said, that confirmation.
Yeah,
you know
it's the confirmation.
Having
like,
that
damn,
confirmation,
I am a good, like I
somebody
am.
view me how I'm like
Right.
how I know I am.
Yeah,
you know?
and that feels good.
But yeah, this makes for like a great conversation piece, and just in regards to like Africa Brooke, because it just shows you again like how someone can already just have that preconceived notion regarding someone that they've never met. You know, they might have seen a video or two, but sometimes they just get information from an outside source that just turns them up. And like she said, it was like she just kept waiting for that one thing to confirm that, yeah, this is the person I thought he was, and for her for that never to come to her is like, you know,
Yeah.
It awoken something inside of her.
Once
you know?
again, yeah, you need to figure things out on your own, and venture into your own curiosity to see where it takes you. I feel like, because this curiosity that I have has definitely sparked some interest that I didn't see that I'd have before getting into this. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was just like a profound moment though for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, her and him.
I agree.
At the same time, and it was good for him to feel that, good for him to hear that, and probably vice versa for her to just be honest with herself.
Yeah, this was a good video. It actually made me feel good being able to see them like interact like that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially coming from somebody that was like, oh no, he's a fool. No.
On Michaela's podcast, you know. So
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That makes my heart feel good.
It does.
That she had to change her heart like that.
Right. So hey, y'all let us know what y'all think about this video. Be sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Y'all join the family.
Pull up.
And if ain't nobody else told you, we love you, and we're gonna see y'all in the next video, y'all. Bye, y'all.